Hi, my name is Ron Wilstein, and I'm a broker at Keller Williams Luxury Properties here in Park City, Utah. Today I want to share with you how I see the Park City real estate market about to change. The Park City real estate market has been quite robust for some time, and we are moving from a limited supply, double-digit price appreciating market to a frequently overpriced market with buyers choosing not to pay the next record high sale price. We've seen properties values increase for some time now, and buyers are now more and more afraid to pay what sellers want. And it's coming because of a fear that values may drop in the next 6 months. Nobody wants to pay a price today only to see values decline in a short period of time. Now, this market sentiment has been created by two things. First, the national news anticipating a real estate slowdown. We've seen a lot of headlines both on the internet as well as in newspapers about the real estate across the country. Here's from Denver Post: Aspen real estate in a first ever sustained nosedive. Another headline here: faltering economy brings real estate market down with it. Manhattan luxury properties seeing a slowdown, and even in the Los Angeles area, overpriced homes may be slowing down LA's market. So these headlines are having an impact of causing buyers to pause, wonder what's happening in the real estate market nationwide and in some local areas. The second thing that we're seeing here is the buyer's belief that Park City's prices can't keep going up at the pace that they have been going up in recent years. We report every single month in our Park City Market Talk webinar about prices and about number of sales, and clearly the median home sold prices have been increasing, as well as condominium prices. And when you see this double-digit appreciation over an extended period of time, you can't help but wonder, how long will it continue for? So what does this mean that there's a change occurring? Number one, property owners who want to sell need to not be so aggressive, or perhaps the correct term is greedy, in pricing their properties to sell. Everybody wants to get the maximum price, the highest possible price, but if you go too aggressively in today's market with this change occurring, you're likely not to sell your property. However, once you receive an offer, once a seller starts negotiating with interested parties, they need to consider, if they don't put together a deal while they're negotiating now, they may not see the next offer for a while, and they could be looking at lower prices in the future. Third, it's important to carefully consider a total market overview analysis and price your property more reasonably to sell. Now, I want to talk about this TMO analysis that we do here at the Wilstein team, because it's a bit different than what the typical real estate agent does. Most agents would do what's called a CMA, or comparable market analysis, and it looks at recent sales in a particular neighborhood that's comparable to the subject property or in a condo property. And they pretty much stop there. And while that information is important, and we always do one of those, we also do a total market overview, because what it does is it looks at the market from the buyer's perspective. What would a buyer who would be considering your property also consider, either in a different neighborhood or a different area or a different condominium property, if that's applicable, before they would make their final buying decision? Very, very important information. You need to know what a total market overview analysis tells you, because it will help you reasonably price your property to sell. Fourth, negotiate the highest and best price you can, and then be content with that price. After years of seeing price appreciations in Park City in double digits, now seeing an adjustment, there can be a tendency to think, oh gosh, I should have gotten a higher price. But today's market, you get the highest price you possibly can, and then you want to be content with that. We know that no single sale will change your life, even though you can get consumed in it when you're in the middle of selling your property. Realizing it's a process of an entire lifetime, but just don't get too fixated with price. Now, talking about price, I want to give you some guidelines. I want to share with you my 10% pricing rule, and this will help you establish the right price for your property. An acceptable list price in today's market is up to 10% above the fair market value of your property. An unacceptable list price is more than 10% above the fair market value of your property. Let me illustrate in this way. We have here the fair market value of your property, whatever that number is. If you set your price at that number, you're likely to sell your home or your condominium within the first 3 months of being on the market. May even encounter multiple offers if you're priced aggressively so that buyers will consider your property. However, everybody wants to get a higher price and naturally wants to build some price into their list price to have room to negotiate off of it. Totally understandable. If you priced your property up to that top line of 10% above the fair market value, you can do that. It's likely to result in it taking longer for your property to sell, but if that works fine with your objectives, that's reasonable to do. If you perhaps don't want to take 6 to 9 months, which pricing 10% above fair market value might be what it takes to sell your property, you might choose 5%. 5%, you probably sell it faster, 3 to 6 months. Everybody's situation is different. You have to decide what your timeline is, what your objectives for selling are, and price accordingly. What you don't want to do is you don't want to price above 10% because in this market, properties are rarely selling, and that defeats your purpose. You want to sell your property. Otherwise, you shouldn't put it on the market at all. So with this change in the marketplace that we're seeing, and it is clearly noticeable, it's time to adapt. And you want to adapt to changes in the market so that you're not left behind as these occur. So let's take a look at them. Number one, you don't want to sell your property for less than you should get in today's market. I want to stress that. I'm not suggesting that you settle for less. You want to get the maximum price. But you want to beware of asking too much and sabotaging your ability to sell your property at all, because those buyers are really watching these prices and they just have some reluctance right now. This is an example of an email that a real estate agent sent out to me, and they're not just sending it out to me, they're sending it out to other Park City real estate agents and brokers, and it's announcing a price reduction. You can see in the yellow, price reduction now $997,000. What might be a little hard to see in this window is that this represents a $52,000 price reduction. That's a substantial reduction. Here's another headline. Sellers say bring all reasonable offers. And of course they've lowered their price. But what you're not seeing is that they've lowered it over the term of their listing $195,000. Now they didn't do that all in once. They did it in some steps. But it indicates that if you list your property too high, you're not going to sell it, and eventually you're going to need to make one or more price reductions. Here's another email. 50,000 price drop before Labor Day. This one came out right before Labor Day. And again, small print shows you when you look into it, it's over a $50,000 price reduction. Just examples of agents or sellers, whoever set the price, going too high, higher than the market could bear. Now, if you'd like more information about my 10% pricing rule, go to BuyParkCity.com/price right. And I go into great detail on this, a lot more than I'm sharing with you in this short video. If you want our input on how your property compares to other similar properties that have sold, give us a call. We're happy to come and share with you that information, answer any questions that you may have. And by the way, you don't need to be planning to sell your property. If you're just curious, that's fine. Just contact us. We're happy to provide that information. Finally, as I wrap up, I want to share with you how you can learn what your property is worth in today's market. It's very easy. You go to our primary website, which is BuyParkCityRealEstate.com. And when you get to that website, scroll down to the section entitled Learn What Your Property is Worth and complete a quick form there. Let me just show it to you real quickly. Here is the BuyParkCityRealEstate.com website. You scroll down, you go past this Start Your Park City search, past some of our listed properties and webinars to this section. Learn what your property is worth in today's market. From here, simple form, it will take you less than a minute to complete. Complete the answers, include your name, first and last name, and your email address. And then when you come to this section just below your information, choose this first selection here. Contact me for a free property value assessment. We'll reach out to you, contact you, see your property, give you that information. And it's just that easy. So take a minute or less to fill out the form, click the green button, submit the form, and we are happy to get you the information on what your property is worth. It's just that easy. If you have any questions about the Park City real estate market, email me at ron@thewilsteinteam.com. And if you'd like me to give you a call, include your phone number and a preferred time for me to give you a ring, I'll be happy to do so. Finally, I just want to remind you about our Park City Market Talk webinar. It's a monthly webinar that we update about the middle of each month, and we give you information on prices and number of sales of homes, condominiums, vacant land in the Park City area. And we talk about key subjects that are on everybody's mind. They're very timely, and so feel free to check those out, or our archive site here at wilsteinteam.com/webinar archives. We have lots of valuable information there. So with that in mind, I want to thank you for participating in my webinar today.